Let's scroll back up and start from the top. All right, we had Buck Williams in here first. Hello, Buck. Hello, Jason Lamb.
Hey, Jason.
Scott Swift. Hello, Buck. Hello, Jason Lamb.
Hey, Jason.
Rookie move.
It happens.
uh, Johnny Smallpepper.
Honey.
Joy Stewart. We have 8 in here right now. Okay. So for those of you that are in here, please share this out and let's get NWMO shared out. If I can get my mods to be sharing out his link.
Appreciate
and getting him some help growing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So if you guys do have any questions for Johnny, feel free to ask, and we'll get him up on screen and get those questions out to him. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a small channel, northwest part of Missouri. My main bodies that I fish water-wise is Missouri River from Atchison, Kansas, Leavenworth, Kansas, St. Joe, Missouri area. Several lakes in the eastern part of Kansas. Really not any. There's actually not a whole lot of lakes in Missouri that I fish. We've got Smithville that's pretty close to me, but it's more just a channel cat lake. Platte River, I fish it quite a bit. You know, just I've been into it for the YouTube thing. I guess you could say I'm brand new. I started it, not quite a year ago. I think I've only got 5 or 6 videos on there. Been a tournament angler for a couple years and avid fisherman all my life, pretty much. Dad started me pretty early, fished with my dad and my grandpa. Just grew up doing it. Fell in love with it. It becomes a lifestyle.
Okay. So how far do you live from Lyle?
What's that?
How far are you away from Lyle?
Oh, Lyle, I'm about 3.5 hours, 4 hours maybe. He's down in the southern part. If I'm correct on that.
No, I think he's towards central part.
Well, if he's central, then it's probably 2.5 or 3 hours. We're right on the Kansas line. I'm about 50 minutes from the Iowa line and 10 minutes from the Kansas line on the west side.
So you're closer to James Dockery then.
Yes. Yep. Richard Ward with Mad Catters. I'm about 10 minutes away from him.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And that the crazy thing is, I had never met that guy. I had never talked to him. And it was the same with me for him until that Bumping for Biggins tournament on the Fields to Water page. And it was a small world. I was like, man, it's kind of cool to know that somebody that's into it that serious is this close to me. We've got a lot of serious anglers around here, but my part of the country, or the state, I guess you could say, is more tournament based anglers. There's not a whole lot of guys that are doing the social media thing. And
yeah, Jello's in chat saying hello to you.
Hello, how's it going tonight?
So you bank or boat?
I'm boat. I fish bank once in a while, like we were talking before the show. Carp, I'll get out. My kids like to fit. They like catching carp, so we'll bank fish for them once in a while. But 99% of the time, I'm in my boat.
Can I get my mods to share out NWMO's YouTube link, please?
I'd
Let's
appreciate.
show him some love and get him growing and get him out there. And
Thanks a lot for that.
so, what got you started in doing YouTube?
Uh, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Steve Douglas, Chris Souders, and Dieter Melhorn. Those are the guys, man. Those are my biggest. They're my idols. I got to watching their videos, and I was like, man, it'd be so cool to, you know, to just be able to share your experiences the way they do, and then a lot of it also was. I used to listen to Catfish Weekly before my YouTube channel. I would listen to Catfish Weekly on Spotify, on that platform, and just the community, the catfishing community on YouTube. I fell in love with it. It's like a family, and I just wanted to be a part of that. So
Oh
I
yeah,
just
it's a big family.
I absolutely.
It's a really great family.
It is. It's very hard to find people that share the same passion, that are, I don't know how to say that are the mindset that we are. We don't, you know, I mean, yes, everybody wants to catch a bigger fish than the next guy, but the competition aspect is also, it's just, there's so much love in it. It's crazy. It's hard to explain.
Me as a catfisherman, I was raised up to eat what you catch, but we selective harvested what we caught.
Mhm.
We didn't keep the small ones and we didn't keep the giants. We kept the ones that would feed us. And if we had a fish fry with a bunch of people coming over, we'll keep a big enough one or a couple big ones to feed 50, 60, 70 people. And that would be it.
Yeah.
But we did it selectively. Hey, Team Snagging Whiskers. And that's the way I was raised. And I still go that route.
Yeah.
But I've
Yeah.
never done any real tournaments.
They'll get in your blood. it's a whole different level of fun. It's a very,
Okay.
it's addicting. Tournaments, it's very addicting. And
We have Wannabe Outdoors, Johnny Small Peppers, Team Snagging Whiskers, Bullets and Barbecue, Snake River. Uh, who else was it? This came in. Randall Rhino. What Jello came in, but said hi to him. I'll say it again.
what's going on?
So far, that's what we got. So if you guys have any questions for him, please put it in chat and we'll get it out to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to.
So, huh?
I'd be happy to answer any if I can.
Joy wants to know what kind of fish tournaments.
They call them 3 species tournaments. It's you can weigh blues, flatheads, or channel cats. Most of the tournaments we do are river tournaments, either on the Mississippi or the Missouri. And a lot of guys don't like it, but they're a 5 fish weigh in. Most are overnight. Some are day tournaments. I fish personally 3 different trails, and there's about, I think last year I fished 15 or 16 tournaments altogether.
Yeah.
Between the 3 trails, but they're all pretty decent payout tournaments. There's a big one right here 10 minutes from me. It's the Chevrolet Classic. It's put on by Catfish Chasers, and last year it was a 200 boat tournament. So I mean they're all pretty big scale tournaments.
How long have you been doing tournaments?
This is I fished them with my dad when he was still alive. I fished them, probably 15 years ago with him. And then I just got back into them on the level that I'm at now 2.5 years ago. So
Now, is that something that you enjoy doing, or did someone introduce you to it?
my dad introduced me to it, but it and back then I really didn't. I wasn't the fisherman that I am now, so I didn't enjoy it a whole lot. And then just the large scale and all, it was kind of, I guess, yes, I was introduced to it. All my buddies started doing it, and I was like, man, I want to try that. That sounds fun. And so I got into it after that, and I fished the first couple, and I fell in love with it. The camaraderie at them is absolutely amazing. There's nothing like standing at a weigh-in, at 7 in the morning after an overnight tournament and hearing everybody's stories and talking to everybody. It's just, you make a lot of good friends.
Now, do you have a certain type of live well on your boat to keep those big fish in there, or?
Yes, I fish. My boat it's a Ranger Deep V. It's a 19 foot, but being a Deep V, obviously it didn't come factory with a big live well. I think the factory one was like 30 gallons or something. So what I did was I took a toolbox out of a pickup, sealed it, and built one out of it. It's all plumbed into my original live well plumbing. It uses the factory fill. It's got a full length spray bar, 2 6-inch stones on a keep alive system, and factory drain. So
Yeah, okay.
it's stationary. I lost a lot of room in the floor of the boat when I put it in, but to do what I'm doing, I have to have it. So I just kind of learned to work around it.
You can always step on it.
Yeah, I do. I tell you what, it's when I'm not tournament fishing, it's basically like the back deck of the boat is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you're not tournament fishing, it's empty. It makes good storage.
Yes, it does. It does. I always keep
I
life.
say that because when
All
come
that.
tournament time, you're going to regret me saying that, and you'll have to throw everything out to find a new home for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, that boat's got a lot of storage on it, anyways. But yeah, that's 94 gallons of storage I didn't have before.
I'd say close to 100, but
Yeah.
then again, come tournament time, you're trying to get your boat ready, and you open that up, and you're like, oh, crud, now we got to move all this stuff around again.
I'll be thinking of you if that happens, Avid.
I know you will. You'd be like, yeah, he told me I had a whole new storage unit. Now I need to find a new home for it.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure you'll be thinking of me, but it won't be nice words.
No, it's a good community. There's, I would almost, camaraderie wise, I would put it right next to the YouTube community, but obviously the competition is a little different. I mean, some guys there's always a sour one or two in every bunch, but it's a good community.
We have Bullets and Barbecue in here. We have Richard Ward, Mad Catter in here.
Hey, what's going on, Richard?
So, at what age did you start fishing?
My earliest memory is it would have been mid 90s, so I would have been probably 8 or 9. I used to stay with my grandparents. My dad and my grandpa were loggers, and every morning my dad would drop me off at my grandma's house. She'd keep me all day long, and they had a little farm pond, and it was just stocked, just completely full of bullheads. I mean, just chuck full, and they were all little 5 and 6 inch bullheads. I never caught a big fish out of there, and I don't think I ever caught anything other than bullheads. But I would take chicken livers, and it was an everyday thing through the week. I was over there. I'd just sit there, and I don't know how many a day I would catch, but just bullhead after bullhead. And I think about that now, and I'm like, man, all that flathead bait that I caught. But no, that's about the earliest memory I have of getting started. And then I tried to get into the bass fishing thing when I got old enough to drive and high school age, and it just wasn't my thing. So I've always loved to catfish, but once I started figuring out it's not just going out there finding the deepest spot you can and chunking the stinkiest, nastiest bait out and sitting and waiting. Once I figured out there's more to it than that, it became just a passion.
Yeah, when you find out there's more bait than just what you could buy at the
Yeah.
Walmart or bait shop that's stunk.
Techniques and baits, and
Uh-huh.
there's still people that, it's still kind of got that misnomer that,
Stink bait is the only way to go to catch big cats, and it isn't.
no, absolutely not. That's
I'd like to say hello to Carla Nichols and Serena Keeping It Real. Hello, Carla. If you're new in here, please hit the thumbs up and the bell notification and subscribe. And you'll be able to see when I have more guests on here.
that's actually my mom.
Oh, Carla?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I thought she was just someone new.
No, I'll
I've been seeing a lot of new names pop in here lately.
give your channel a like. I think she'd like.
Richard Ward wants to know how he wants to know how to catch a big fish.
Which one, Richard? The latest PB, the 76. If he's talking about that one, I was actually anchored. That was on April 2nd of this year, and I was anchored right in a current seam. At that time, I was still using shad. Water was cold this year, and he just came off of a big head piece of shad.
I find this time of year, the females that aren't out on beds, they like to hang around current seams.
Yeah. Yes. I just told a guy today, actually, I had a friend of mine hit me up about him and his buddies are going out and they wanted to know any tips or advice. And I told him, I said, man, it's tough right now. The spawn's kicking, but they've got to eat. I told him, I said, the big fish are going to start coming off. I said, just find a good current seam on the edge of a hole and try your luck. You're going to be good. And that's another thing that's kind of tough. Most people anymore, they ask me how to catch those big fish, and I tell them, learn how to bump on the river system. We have 4.5, 5 mile an hour current. Learn how to bump. That's
right.
It's not, I know it's not for everyone, but if you do it and you get the hang of it, the very first time you ever hit a fish bumping, I can promise you'll be praying for warm weather every year because there's nothing like it.
We have Brandon Bronner came in, A1 Family Fishing, and Mad Cat goes, well, you're going to have to show me.
He's close enough. We can go anytime, Richard.
Yeah, you're 10 minutes apart?
Yep. Yeah, I need to get with him anyways. It's like I said earlier before the show, it's crazy to know that people are that close to you. It's a small world.
Yeah. Bullets and Barbecue wants to know, what do you look for in a new body of water to find big fish?
If I'm that depends on river or lake, and it depends on blues or flatheads. I'm a blue cat guy and I'm a river guy, but when I do fish like a lake tournament, if it's a night tournament, the way I look at it is I'm going to target flatheads, and I relate flatheads no matter what to structure all the time. I won't even necessarily try to mark fish. I'll try to mark structure, and then I'll go from there, and then I'll run 2 or 3 different kinds of baits.
Whoa.
And then start chipping away at it. But if I'm looking for big fish, it sounds kind of crazy, but try to think like a fish. Whatever time of year it is, if it's this time of year, it's going to be pretty tough about anywhere, but just think that they're going to be coming off spawn. They're going to be hungry, and try to find those areas where the bait is going to be more times than not.
Hello, Greenwell. He says, hello, Dustin.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
And you started tonight live with setting out how many hook sets?
What's that?
What did you start tonight at with subs?
I think I haven't looked in a couple days. I want to say 85.
Well, you're 2 away from 100.
Oh, wow. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Please, everybody, if you have him, share him out on your community tab and get him growing. He's has some great videos. He has some great information. And if you do have any questions for him, please ask him in chat, and I will get them put up to him so he can get them answered.
Absolutely.
Bullet says, isn't bumping just basically like bobber fishing from shore?
No. You say bobber fishing?
Yeah.
No, bumping
He's kind of
is
referenced it to like lifting your bait so far off the bottom and just letting it drift compared to bumping.
Yeah. I guess you could kind of look at it like that, but more what all it is you're using current to walk a bait down the bottom. The only time you're raising it up is just to get it to advance a little further with the current. So you're still essentially you're fishing the bottom. You're just trying to create a more natural presentation like a piece of bait in the current. And it's very effective.
It's way more complicated than that.
Yes, it's and Bumping Mike knows.
I'm still trying to figure out how you could bump from shore.
Yeah, a lot of guys will back bounce. I've fished with some guys that'll back bounce out of an anchored boat, and they'll back bounce a place. They'll find a spot with a lot of current where they've got a good, like a 150 or 200 yard stretch, and they'll just bounce it down through there, and then they'll reel it back in. And they'll bounce it through there again. I've tried it. I don't like it. When I bump, there's days when, you're covering miles of water, and that's what I love about it so much, because you're not stuck in an area. You're covering a lot of water. You're putting it in front of a lot of fish.
Now, when you're back bouncing or bottom bouncing, how much distance do you guys cover doing that?
Wherever the sweet spot is. I know that sounds crazy. Mike can relate to what I'm saying. No, it depends on the current, depends on the weight of the bait, how much pull you're getting on your bait. I've had times in the same body of water in the Missouri River. I've had times when I've had to run 4-ounce weight, and I could only run 150 yard or 150 feet behind the boat. And then there's been times when 2 or 3 days later, you can go out and you can get away with a 3-ounce weight, and you're running, double that behind the boat. So it all just kind of depends on conditions, and there's a lot of variables that go into that. That's kind of a tough question to really, there's not really a set answer for that. It's just trial and error. But when it gets to the point where when you raise it up and you can feel it hit again, and you don't have to reel or you don't have to let line out, you're there. And once you hit that point, you can fish for just as long as you want to, basically.
Dustin, congratulations. You are now at 101.
Oh, thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome.
But this is what we do for the Catfish family. We support everybody, and I don't like leaving no one behind.
Yeah, and I tell you what, guys, I appreciate it. You don't know what it means to me.
Greenwell says some days you may run a 2 mile drift. Other days you may burn up a quarter mile.
That's right.
Now, you fished the Mississippi before, right?
Yes. Yes.
Between back bouncing and bottom bouncing off the Missouri compared to the Mississippi, which one would you prefer to do more? Which body of water?
Some guys will argue. Some guys will argue with what my take on that. I don't see a lot of difference in them. The stretch of river on the Missouri that I fish most of the time it's a fairly big stretch of river, and it's one of the stronger stretches. The Mississippi it's just a beast of a river.
It's a wicked river. I know that.
I would prefer the Missouri just because I'm on it more, but I think every time I've ever fished the Mississippi, I love it a little more. I think if I were to fish it more, then I would definitely convert to Mississippi. No questions asked.
Don't you have to change your tactics a little bit when you fish in Mississippi for as hard and fast as it flows?
Yes. That's actually what got me onto the idea of a generator on the boat for my trolling motors. But you'll run more weight. You'll fight your current a lot more. It's tough, yeah. But
a generator with a charging pack for all your batteries in the boat when you're on the Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
Mad Cannon wants to know, what is your preferred setup?
Like rod and reel, or rig for bumping?
I believe that's what he's talking about. Your preferred setup on rod and reel.
I run B&M Silver Cat Elites with Cap Max reels. Recently, I just switched over. I've got 2 of them back here behind me that are Mad Cats, and they've got Abu's 7,000s on them. And I'm in love with them. I told myself I'd buy 2 of them and fish with them. I haven't caught any big fish on them yet. I think the biggest one was actually in Chad's tournament. He was 17 pounds or something. But so far, what I've seen, I absolutely love them. So I'm gonna stick with the Mad Cats. I'm gonna buy more of those. But yeah, I'm a B&M guy though, and the Cap Max reels are for the money. They're a cheaper reel, but they're a great reel. They've been good to me. I've had a couple back here that I've had a couple of those for 2 or 3 years, and I mean they get a workout when when you got a 70 or a 60 on there, and they've caught multiple big fish. So they're good reels, and the rods are absolutely great. I love those too.
Yeah. Mike Greenwell wants to know, does Dustin have a bumping rig he can show?
Yeah, I can run out and get it real quick.
Go for it.
Give me just a second. Boat's right outside the door.
Everybody, if you're liking this, please share out Dustin on your community tabs. Let's help him grow. He's at 101 now, people. Let's get him up to 115 if we can. Cody, if you have never used a pen, you're going to love these. No, they can't go wrong if Steve Douglas uses them. Let's try to get Dustin with NWMO up to 125. Don't worry, I put you on full screen.
Well,
I'm not trying to make you nervous.
What's that?
I'm not trying to make you nervous.
No, I'm not really a nervous guy. I'm a people person. So
First time on YouTube and you're going on full screen. Okay.
yeah. So rig wise, I just run it's a stalker bumping rod, and it's a Shimano classic reel. It's a bass reel. I'm not gonna lie. I love it though. It's a thumb release instead of most of the other baitcaster style reels. It's caught some big fish, and I run 65-pound Power Pro on it. For my rigs, I run a smaller hook on my bumping rigs, but I just run a 3-way from Tackle Bandit or anywheres, like a 10-pound mono leader. I tie my sinkers on.
Okay.
I don't use any kind of snaps or swivels or anything on those. Yeah, usually about 15 to 18 inches of sinker, and then I run to a ball and chain swivel, and then down to just a snelled circle hook. But that's my go-to rig. Sometimes I'll switch it up and I'll run a Demon Dragon on here, and I'll run 2 hooks. But for the most time, I just run this single hook rig, and I've caught more fish on this than I have anchored or anything.
Is that a kill hook I seen?
No, this is a circle hook. This is this one here it's called the Reaper.
Okay.
By Hooker's Terminal Tackle. This is a 7/0. I've recently switched to the D85s from Diachi, and I'm sold on them. I went like 22 for 22 fish without a miss with those hooks.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, yep, got to have more of them. And so I ended up buying, and you can buy a bulk pack from TTI Blakemore. I actually got that idea from Chris Souders. You can buy a bulk pack of those 100 hooks for $65, which isn't that bad at all.
Richard Ward is wanting to know is a chain swivel necessary with line already coming off?
No,
Coming off a swivel?
it's not. No. The only reason I do it is because, well, Richard, you know how the Missouri is. Honestly, the reason I do it is because I love big pieces of bait, and it seems like you get a lot more spin and twist on those big pieces. And I think that extra point of swivel just keeps you from getting down there and getting all balled up and hooking back into itself. And it just gives it a little more twist, an extra point of where it can spin and do its thing down there. That's the only reason I run them.
Joy Stewart says, you want to make Scott crazy? Leave a tag end on a hook.
I'm bad about that.
I do that all the time, and half the time I don't think about it until I have a piece of cut bait and it looks like it has hair growing off of it.
Yep, I leave my tag ends on everything. I know
it don't bother me until I see that.
What's that?
It don't bother me until I see the fire line coming across the dorsal fin of a piece of cut skipjack. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Yeah. Yep.
Hello, Paul Boyd. So, do you use what reels do you normally use that you like for bumping?
This one is just I had a what was that? I don't have it anymore. I can't remember what that first one was, but this one's just a Shimano. It's a classic. That's what they call it. It's just a Shimano classic, and it's not a very big reel. It's really not, but it's a bass reel. But it's got, I mean, I like the drag on it, and it's smooth. That's what I really like about it too. And that thumb thing for me, having the thumb release right there, that's a must on a bumping reel. So
okay,
That's what I've been using for this whole season so far. And I tell you what, I've kind of fell in love with it. I was a little skeptical about it, but because there are some reels that people are really starting to take to, and I figured, well, before I go spend, $300 or $400, I'll try this one. I already had it, so, and so far so good. It hasn't let me down. So the first time it does, then I'll spend the money.
Richard Ward says, "Well, then that's my problem. I need a chain swivel." Laughing out loud. Then I need to learn how to bump.
Let's go anytime, buddy. I'm always looking for people to go on with me.
Oh, I'm sure if he knows that. How can someone contact you?
I've actually talked to him quite a bit. You can just message me on Facebook or you can email me. My email is nwmofishing@gmail.com. My Facebook is just Dustin Nichols, or you can message me on this page. I have a NWMO Fishing Facebook page as well. Or you can comment on a video or something on YouTube, and we can go from there.
Hello, Ashley. Well, I just caught you in chat and just said, "Hey, contact me."
Yeah. No, I have a NWMO Fishing Facebook page, and the name on that is the exact same as my YouTube channel. So,
yeah, I don't know how to, because a lot of young YouTubers fail to put their email in their About Me page.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Or put their Facebook contact in the About Me page. I'm like,
who is this guy?
How are we going to contact you if we don't have an email or a Facebook?
Yeah, I need
on your About Me page, so I don't have to keep coming in someone else's chat and say, "Hey, are you on Facebook?"
Yeah, I'll fix that. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I'll fix that because.
Well, it's not just your attention; it's to a lot of the young channels out here, because channels like me that help the smaller channels, I have no way of getting a hold of you.
Right.
Unless I catch you in chat.
Yeah.
So I can't bring you on as a guest unless I can find your email or your Facebook account through your About Me page.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
Because I don't like being rude in someone else's chat and asking people I'm looking for to help them grow, get out there and get known, to just contact me on Facebook or email me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Greenwell wants to know, Dustin, do you do any fishing during the week?
Oh yeah. I fish. Last year I was on the water almost 250 days. I fish. I'm lucky. I live about 8 minutes from a boat ramp. So, and I'm very blessed to have the job I have. I'm off and home by 4 o'clock every day. So yeah, I fish usually 4 to 6 days a week.
How much bait fishing do you do before you go on to a tournament?
For a tournament, I'll spend. There's times on a Saturday tournament, I'll take off Friday, and I'll start Thursday evening after work, and I'll fish all the way through Friday too. While most guys are out pre-fishing for a tournament, I'm usually catching bait. So yeah, usually it's not uncommon for me to put 200 miles on the pickup and have to fill the boat up twice for going and getting bait. I spend time doing it. I've never ran out, and I hope I never do, because I've seen guys that have texted me the morning of a tournament, "Hey man, you got any bait I can buy?" And I'm like, I don't want to ever be that way. I don't want to ever have to be worrying about, do I have enough bait or
right.
So yeah, I spend a lot of time catching bait.
Mad Cat says, so you put in at Atchison,
yes. Yeah.
I'm trying to pronounce that right.
Well, yeah, Atchison most of the time. Sometimes I'll go to White Cloud. He'll know where I'm talking about. And there's other times I'll use the ramp at the casino in St. Joseph, but I don't use it if I don't have to. Usually it's Atchison is a lot closer for me than any of the other two. So
Hello, Mike Irving. Greenwell wants to know what boat and what motor.
I have a 2021 Ranger VX 1888. It's a it's an 1888 series. It's registered as a 19-foot boat. It's got a Mercury Pro XS 150 on it.
Now, what kind of rod racks do you have across the back?
I use all monster rod holders, and I'm a welder by trade. So I actually at work, I built a set of, they're kind of like a multi-bar, but I put my own little twist on them, and I've just got on those.
Now, have you seen fishing and stuff's DIY videos on?
Yeah. Yes, the rod rack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Multi-bars and the rod racks you make.
Yeah, that guy can make anything.
I'll tell you what, I don't even have a boat.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that he makes for boats, like the T-bar that slides up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see about that one for the bank.
I've actually picked some stuff up off. I've picked a lot of stuff off his channel. The magnets on the bottom sides of your lids and your storage.
Mm-hmm.
That was I can't believe I never thought of that. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I just had to do it. so no.
Joyce Stewart.
Buddy, I appreciate that. The guy can make anything. I'm waiting for him to build a boat from scratch.
I'm waiting for that day. Joyce Stewart wants to know, do you ever freeze bait?
Yeah. I'll freeze shad. I'll brine it, wipe it down, dry it off as soon as I catch it, throw them in a cooler wrapped in a towel, and then I'll just brine it real lightly with salt, and I'll freeze them that way.
Have you ever tried an ice cold saltwater brine to throw your fish in there until you get home, which pre-freezes them? Then you just pat them dry and put them in vacuum sealers and freeze them.
Yep, they'll keep just better. That's the best way to keep any kind of bait, in my opinion. Don't get that mush when it's thawed and you go to cut it. Like most stuff that comes from the bait shops around here.
Well, when I go skipjack fishing, I have 150 quart, the giant ring quart coolers with 40 pounds of ice, 60 pounds of ice in it, water, salt, and get a good saltwater ice, really cold ice water brine. And as I catch a skipjack, I just throw them in there.
Yeah, you got plenty of room for a lot of bait in there.
Normally, when I go after skipjack, it ain't going after 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I'm going over after 50 or 60 because when people know I got skipjack, they want it.
That's one thing I wish we had around here. I wish we had skipjack, but we don't. So
the only place you can get that's in Mississippi.
Yeah,
but they're fun.
Oh, I've watched so many videos of them guys catching them things, and it's awesome. I wish we had them. Moon eye, if you can find them. We've got a lot of moon eye around here, but I get more moon eye out of a cast net than I do trying to rod and reel for them. So
I find that in certain spots on the Mississippi where there's no rocks,
mm-hmm.
They got that currency. When I throw an 8-foot cast net out, I catch more moon eye than I do shad.
That's the way I am. It seemed, and that was just recent that I started catching the moon eye. It was actually this spring. I was prepping for that Bumping for Biggins tournament. I was catching bait for it, and I was trying to get my hands on some carp, which that's not a problem. But I had a couple big carp that I was going to cut, but I wanted some smaller ones too. And a lot of times those smaller ones won't jump like the big ones do, so they're a little tougher to get. So
yeah,
I decided I was going to pull back into some slack water and throw the cast net a couple times, and I started getting into the moon eye, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, man, So I marked that spot. Had a phone call. Sorry.
Okay. Green Greenwell says you have the second best moonite and goldeye.
Yep. Yep. I agree 100%, Mike.
Mad Cat says bobber and backwater eddies catches a lot of mooneye.
Yeah. But I tell you what, Richard, I'll keep that in mind. I'll definitely try it. Or maybe you can go show me how to do it.
But I learned one thing in the cast net. Don't try to catch Asian carp, big head carp, or any carp or sucker in it because it'll destroy your net.
I've got a. I don't think I don't think I put it on there. It'd be a short video for YouTube. I'm kind of trying to stay away from the shorts, but anyways, I've got a video of about a 45-pound Asian that I ended up getting in my cast net, and that was a deal. I throw a Phytech. It's a 12-foot, and it took me 30 minutes to get that fish out of there, but
it takes you anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes.
Yes, them gar are absolutely
get them carp, them gar, and all that stuff out of there because they'll rip your nets if you try to shake them out or anything else.
Yeah. Well, the gar they like to they'll clamp down, they'll bite and get a big old mouthful of it, and man, it's tough to get them to let go.
But Richard Ward says post the shorts, people love them. Joy says I gotta run. It's nice to meet you, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
And I agree with Greenwell. He says post your shorts. They help to grow the channel, which I do, because it gives them a little bit more insight about you and what you're doing and what you're using and tips and tricks that you can share in a short.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely do that then.
And we have a great community out here that can help you.
I agree there. You guys are that's what got me started. Like I said, Catfish Weekly on Spotify. I wasn't even watching it on YouTube, and I just seeing how the community was, I said, man, I got to be a part of that. That's awesome.
Well, the first person I was introduced to when I started YouTube, Maurice Kaysen found me, and he's been my number one sub, and he helped me find the catfish community and all these other channels.
Yeah.
The first one I was in Catfish Weekly. Then it was Steve Douglas, and it was Chris Flores, Muddy Waters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris.
And Patriot James.
Yeah. Yep. No, I started on the YouTube side when I was watching before I even thought about putting anything up. I started out, I stumbled across Steve Douglas, and it was game over after that. And then Chris Souders, I've learned so much from that guy. I've never met him a day in my life. I've never fished with him, but he's taught me more than anybody ever has when it comes to doing this. So
yeah, Greenwell is, huh?
It's a great channel, man.
Oh yeah. Greenwell was saying one short gained him 100 hook sets.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it, guys.
Carmel Muncie came in saying hello, Abbott and WMO.
How's it going?
So, what is this time of year? What is your preferred best time to go catfishing?
I really any time. It depends on what I want to do. Me, I'm a blue cat guy. I love them, so I'm gonna start early in the morning, and I'll bump until it gets so hot it's just miserable out there. If I do want to pull a night trip, I'll get some live bait, bluegills and creek chubs, stuff like that, bullheads, and I'll fish the shallow flats for flatheads, but right now it's bumping for blue cats. And that's my absolute favorite.
Have you ever bumped for blue cats and end up catching a big flathead?
Not a big one, but we caught it like a 22-pounder in a tournament, and it was after dark. We were fishing a place in St. Joe. It's there's a boat a bridge that runs right with the river. It's a big double-decker bridge, and I'll bump that area after dark because of the light, and I was bumping down through there and I hit a fish and it ended up being a 22-pound flathead. And that's the only flathead I've ever caught bumping, but yeah, it was pretty neat.
Solo Texas Adventures wants to know, what is your favorite drink and snack you take out with you when you're on the boat?
I don't really take, I guess snack wise would be Gardettos. I love those things. But one thing that I cannot be on the water without is Pure Leaf sweet tea. I gotta have it.
Mad Catters asks, do you have much luck with goldfish? I use them a fair amount.
Yeah, I found that smaller flatheads, channel cat, absolutely love them. I think they've got a time and a place. It seems like when the water first starts warming up, before the bluegill bite really turns on, before the fish really start eating bluegills, I think goldfish it's a good bait then. But this time of year, I'm going to run this time of year all the way through about October. I'm going to run either bullheads, bluegills, or it'll be carp. Goldfish, it's not a bad bait, I guess, but I'm not a big fan of it.
I have not had no luck with goldfish.
Yeah, it's so hit and miss. I've had nights where I couldn't get any bait, so I had to go buy some, and goldfish was the only live bait they had, and I fished with it and done not terrible, decent. I've never caught any big fish on it, but I've caught a lot of fish on it. But
what would be? Go ahead.
Of natural baits, I guess.
What would be your top 5 natural live baits that you want to use for catfishing?
From best to worst, I would say best is carp. I say that because it's a primo summertime bait, but I've caught fish with it with stuff that I've had frozen in just a Ziploc bag, not even vacuum sealed, in the wintertime with it. So carp is that's my number 1. Number 2 is going to be bluegill or green sunfish. 3 would be bullheads. I've actually had big channel cats eat bullheads before. I've never caught a blue cat on bullhead yet, but tons of flatheads and channel cats. And then creek chubs, and the bottom would be probably shad, skipjack, that area.
I noticed you didn't put moon eye in there.
I never know if I can get it for sure. Until I get to where I'm confident I can go get it whenever I want to. I set out and say, okay, I'm going to go get some moon eye. I won't classify it a bait that I can rely on because I can't rely on catching it.
I know everybody in chat has not answered this yet, so I'm going to ask you, what is your PB blue, PB flathead, and PB channel?
My PB blue is 76 pounds. My PB flathead is 38. I'm still trying to break 40 on a flathead. And channel cat, I don't even know. Probably, I don't know. Probably 11 pounds, 12. I don't know.
No, that's still nice.
We got into some big cats on a lake out in Kansas called John Redmond Reservoir, and it's a channel cat lake, and we got in some big ones out there, but I can't remember the weights of the bigger ones. But Yeah, I'm still my focus this year is a big flathead. I want to break the 50 mark on a flathead. So
Wow.
that's my big focus.
What do you have planned for your channel?
uh, I I really just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I think I think one of my problems is I feel like I was stuck on the mindset that okay, you need to go out, you need to catch fish, and 100% catfishing. You know, it's got to be stuck to that. I finally kind of broken myself of that. So I think I'm gonna just start doing some boat video or some bait videos, maybe some how tos. I did put a how to for a bumping rig on my channel. It did pretty well. Uh, and like I said earlier, I'm a welder by trade. I build a lot of stuff for my boat. I build rod racks. I build a lot of anchors, sinker boxes, things like that. So I might even maybe do some videos like that.
Hey, content is content.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
more content you can put out, the better it's going to help your algorithms and your channel grow.
yeah. I was so stuck you know, when I first started, I had like one or two videos out, and I was so stuck on, okay, everybody knows me as a catfisherman. The thing is, everybody around here knows me as a catfisherman, and my channel's NWMO Fishing. Why not kind of broaden the spectrum and put more stuff out there? You know, so
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to try a couple bait videos. I do have one bait video where I actually ended up catching a couple pretty nice bass. And
I like doing bait videos, but I don't like giving away my location.
yeah, yeah,
I go back there after I do it, and people just want to wipe out your spots.
yeah, yeah. That's luckily around here I've got a couple little feeder creeks that people know about them, I'm sure, but not a lot of people know about them. So they're way out, way away from town. And I think that's the big thing is
That's a good thing.
what we like for bait. You know, the somebody sees you catching 5 and 6 inch bluegill, one right after another one, on rod and reel. We're looking for bait. Them guys may be looking for, you know, fish to eat or just somewhere to take their kids and have a good time. And I'm all for that, but I'm kind of like you. I don't like giving my places away, because if I don't have bait, I don't have big fish. So
Right. Because a lot of times people will take, I know some of the people around here, they'll take a fish. Let me get back on the street so you see me.
got me in the spotlight.
Uh-huh. Because around here, people will take fish that small and keep it.
Yeah, yeah,
They'll gut it and scale it, head and all, and just they'll throw it in the hot grease like it's a potato chip.
yep, yep. And I'll be honest with you, that's a good way to eat bluegill. It really is.
Yeah,
But
but they
maybe
keep them about maybe not even 2 inches long.
gonna say bigger than that though. That's got to be a slab. It's got to be a hand-sized slab for me to even consider it.
I won't keep it. I won't eat a bluegill unless it's 4 or 5 inches,
Yep. If it's too for a live
5 to
bait,
7 inches,
yeah.
about maybe half my hand size. I'll keep them.
Yep.
But if they're smaller than that, I won't keep them unless I'm going to use them for catfish bait.
That's the way I look at it. If I can't run them as a live bait, then then I'll eat them. But they got to be pretty big. I run some big baits. I like big bait.
Oh yeah, you and me both. Big baits, big cats.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Ward says around here, people know you get bait. They will all be in your holes.
That's right. That's right. He understands what I mean.
Oh, I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I think it's everywhere. It's sad that it's that way, but what can
Yeah,
you?
it's like your catfishing holes. If people know your holes, we'll be all up in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why it's kind of selfish, I guess, but like my PB video, I didn't post that video for quite a while because it it shows a lot of where I'm at. I waited for a while after I'd caught that fish to put it on YouTube. And I know that sounds terrible, but our river system, there's a lot of, and Richard knows what I'm talking about. There's a lot of bank liners. And, I grew up doing that, but we didn't eat everything we caught. If there's a big fish, he went back in. And there's so many guys that will keep the 70s and 80s. And I mean, there's a lot of big fish around here, but if everybody and their brother keeps those fish, which most around here do, they say you can't deplete a body of water. But I'm a firm believer you can't. Look at look at down south. It's terrible. Them poor guys around Kentucky and them areas are, man, look at what happened to them, the Ohio River.
Yeah, because people in gill nets, they're keeping everything they catch in the gill nets and not throwing back what they're not supposed to be keeping.
Yep. Both of my kids, I've got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, and they both absolutely love to fish. And I want to make sure they can do this in the future.
Yeah, Richard says, yep. And if them lines ain't tagged, they get cut and thrown on the bank.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Well, good thing is about the Mississippi, up around Alton, you can't get away with gill nuts, the catfish nuts and stuff like that, because their current ain't going to allow it.
No, it'll rip them out in no time.
It'll rip them out, and they'll be down in Cape Girardeau or Kentucky or Louisiana within a month.
Yep, that's the way it ought to be. I don't know. I can't believe that was ever legal anywhere.
No, I'm just saying if there's fish in it, they're gonna get carried down the river inside those nets and abused and destroyed in the Mississippi, because the Mississippi is just gonna take that net and just do whatever it wants with it.
Oh yeah, it's relentless. That river don't care.
It don't. Mike Irvin says he hooks at you. Valerie Irvin just came in.
Appreciate it.
And trying to get you up above 100. Keep you above 100. Yeah, 106 right now.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
But we got amazing people here in chat, so.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to see if there's any more questions in chat. Does anybody have any questions for Dustin right now? Feel free to ask him in chat, and we'll get them asked. Get an answer for you. Now, what pound test of line do you prefer to use?
I'm a mono guy on everything except my bumping rigs. On my anchor stuff, flatheads or blues or channels, I run 50-pound slime line, 80-pound slime line heavy cover leaders.
Okay.
That's my stuff. I love the slime line.
Do you use the Carolina rig or the Santee Cooper rig much?
Hang on just a minute. Let me open this door. I'm starting to lose service. So I run, I'm a big fan of like the Santee style rigs, Demon Dragons. I absolutely love them. I run them 80% of the time. I run Kentucky rigs sometimes, but 90% of the time it's either a Carolina rig or a Santee rig with a Demon Dragon.
Richard Ward says in October you need to go to Kansas City Catfish Conference with him, and he'll introduce you to all the people he knows.
Yeah, I was going to go last year, and I had some family stuff come up. I wasn't able to go, but this year I'll be down there.
I know you're going through some family issues right now, so everybody, let's keep Justin and his family in our thoughts and prayers.
I appreciate that.
Uh,
You.
what rods would you consider your go-to rods for fishing?
Now since I've made the switch, or I've started to make the switch, Mad Cats. Mad Cats all the way. I
Medium heavies or heavies?
medium heavies. I've tried to run heavies, and I just I don't I like the medium heavy action. I've tried to run mediums, and it's a no go completely.
Mediums are looking to get destroyed with the big cats.
Yeah, yeah. The
Oh, we lost him.
Okay, there we go.
You're back.
No, the medium heavies definitely, and Mad Cats. I'm sold on those. The B&M is a great rod. I still have 4 of them that I'm fishing with, but soon I'll be switching 100% to Mad Cats.
Right. So you like the Mad Cats. You said you had some Black Widow hooks. That's your favorites?
Oh, the Reapers from
Yeah.
HTT. They were until I got into the Diachi thing. The D85 it's my new favorite by far. It's I actually have some right here.
What about the offset circle hooks?
They're more like a Kale style.
Oh, okay.
And I tell you what, that hook right there, like I said earlier, I went 22 fish for 22 fish before I finally missed one. So, and it's amazing. I love them. They're more of a Kale style instead of the traditional circle style like the Reaper hooks were that I was using.
Our buddy Madcat has a question for you. Have you ever tried the surge rod from Tombstone Tackle from Columbia? If not, get a hold of him and he'll give you one.
Oh, really? I'll have to do that. I never knew anything about it, to be honest with you. I'll have to get with you, Richard, and get some info on that.
I'm trying to figure out what a surge rod looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know the rods he gave me; those things were beasts, and he said they were medium actions, and they act like a medium heavy action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those BJ rods.
I'd rather have a little more of that heavy side on them.
I do. I like them because they give you more backbone, more control of the fish.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing worse than having 6 rods out and you get a good takedown. You know it's a good fish, and he's crossing all 5 other rods, and you can't turn him. You can't do anything with him. That's a bad feeling.
That's why I like my heavy action rods, because I got control of him.
Yep.
And if he goes to turn and go back down river in the current, he'll pull drag. But I tell you what, if I pull back on that rod when he's going down river, his head is turning.
Oh yeah, it's going to wear him out. He'll give up a lot sooner than he would.
Yeah, but see, I don't use heavy line like everybody else does. I go with 30 to 40 pound test.
Mm-hmm.
But I also use braid because I don't have to worry about yanking on the rod after I reel down on them. I just pull back.
Yeah.
And that hook's going deeper in that jaw every time I pull on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a mono guy. Just I think it handles abrasion a little bit better, but
Right.
I don't like the stretch in mono. That's the only thing I've run some lighter monos, and I do not like the stretch, but they haven't come out with a perfect line for me yet. So I'll just keep running what I'm running now.
If I can catch, I think it's either Magcatter's website, I think, that has a braid I'm looking for. It's just new nine strand braid that's coated, so it won't take abrasions.
The K9 stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's really good braid. I like that. I'm just trying to wait for them to get more in stock so I can get me a couple spools of it.
Mm-hmm.
But that I like my braids because it has no stretch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
You feel you feel everything.
yeah. And another positive about braid is you're not respooling every year. You know,
No,
no, it'll start getting old, and you really got to keep an eye on it. But I'll respool my mono. I know it's overkill, but with all the tournaments I fish, I'll respool mono 2 times a year. And
but see with braid you can, if you start getting bad ends on it, you can cut some of it off and just put it to another spool and respool it.
Yep.
And have the good stuff on the back of your reel put on the outside.
Yeah. Yep.
Which works really good. Richard Ward says 7'6" medium heavy all the way, 30-pound line, mono only. Andy's monster.
Yep.
The only reason why I don't like mono so much is they can make braid thin, but they can't keep mono thin. Every pound test that comes out is thicker and thicker and thicker instead of being like 40-pound braid comes out to about almost like 20-pound test.
Yeah. Yep.
30-pound braid comes down to about like 10 to 12, 15-pound test.
Mm-hmm.
And you get more of that on your line.
Yeah. Yeah.
But mono, you lose line when you with a bigger braid, bigger pounds. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, it does cut a lot of line capacity out.
Because all of these 50-pound test lines I've seen in Walmart, they look like weed eater line.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get over about 50-pound or 40-pound even, it starts to get pretty big. It's big stuff.
Yeah, and I just don't like the fact you lose a lot of distance with your line that you put on your reel.
Yes, you do. You lose a lot.
Yeah, like Richard was saying, 20-pound braid is equal to 4-pound test mono.
Yeah, size for size, it is.
Cody Robinson saying Andy Monsters is some tough stuff, but 17-pound Cajun, I'm getting pictures from a friend of mine that he had seen me about 4 or 5 years ago bringing a 2,000-pound bass boat that guy launched and got to tie his lead line on.
Oh wow!
Hey, that's with 17-pound Cajun and my 18-foot catfish rod.
When I first started fishing tournaments, I wouldn't run anything for leader line. I wouldn't run anything but Cajun line. I loved it. I would still run it today. I stuck solely to slime line, but yeah, Cajun's good line. I got nothing bad to say about it.
I use my braid and I use 17-pound Cajun for a leader line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that ain't breaking.
No.
If that Cajun line can bring a bass boat in sideways,
that's doing something.
2,000-pound bass boat sideways. What's going to break it?
Yeah, right.
And if it does break, it's going to sound like a rifle shot going off.
Mm-hmm.
It gets your attention.
Yeah, I guarantee that.
But a lot of people don't know about some of these good lines that's out there that are strung that isn't that thick.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just not a fan of mono.
Yeah.
I use mono on a bait caster when I'm learning it, but when I get used to it, it's gonna get braid.
Yep. No, that's I like I said, I run braid on my bumping stuff, and it's a good line. And I've kicked it around switching to braid, onto everything just because you don't have to respool as much. But I don't know. I haven't committed to it yet. I'll talk myself out of it and then back into it a dozen times. Make a choice.
Now, I know you do tournaments around your area
Mm-hmm.
in person, and I know you've done a few tournaments in the catfishing community.
Yes.
What is the difference between the two that you feel?
There is a lot less pressure on a person on these virtual tournaments that, like the last two I've done. It's just, and it's nice I like the fact too that you can keep up with everybody's progress all the way through the day. That's, to me, that adds a level I mean, just being able to keep up with your buddies and see like, oh, hey, at that last one, muskrat, they just caught another one. It's nice being able to just keep up with the progress, and everybody gets to joke back and forth the whole entire time. It don't even feel like a tournament. It feels like you're just, everybody's boat's parked right next to you, and you guys are all just fishing the same area. That's what it feels like to me. I love it. I'd love to do more of it. I keep waiting for somebody else to have one.
No, the smack talking is off the charts.
Oh, that's 99% of the fun right there.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's what it's.
I love these tournament with the lady anglers. There wasn't no smack talk in there.
Nope.
But you put a chat full of guys.
Oh, it's,
man, that is just off the wall.
Well, and that's what, to me, I don't, if I'm not giving you a hard time, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of guy I am. And to be able to do that for weeks up until the event and then really turn it on the morning of, and I didn't really do a lot of it on the Bumping for Biggins tournament simply because I didn't really, I didn't know anybody. Now on the other tournament we had, I kind of turned it on with Chad a little bit just because he's a fun guy to give a hard time to. But
I give Chad, I roast Chad every chance I get.
Oh, Chad's a good time. He's fun.
Yeah, but he reminds me of Chucky. You know who Chucky is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Didn't you see the reference? The redhead, the evil grin, the little beady eyes.
I'll have to remember that.
I want to say hi. The Outdoors Addiction that came in. Mike Urban says, "What pound test do you use when you go bumping?"
65-pound Power Pro.
But now you know why I call him Chucky.
Yeah, I'm gonna remember that one.
Because if you look at him on his live,
yeah,
he's a redhead just like Chucky.
Uh-huh.
The little beady eyes, the same nose,
mean little grin.
And that little evil grin that he carries.
Yeah,
And that's the same grin and same smirks.
I still think he's the trash talk king, though. That guy's good at it.
I'd give him that, but he's got to come up with material.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, though. Because at the end of the day, to still be buddies with everybody like you are, that you don't get that in a tournament in person. There's always guys that will pull away from the ramp after a tournament,
right,
with feelings, and I understand a lot on the line, but at the same time, at the end of the day, we all do it because we love it. This is what we live for. We love to fish. We love that. It's our passion.
Right.
So, and I feel like the online tournaments I hope they really take off because.
Well, see, there's a lot of YouTube catfishing tournaments coming up. Still going on. I got one coming up back in August again for the Channel Cat tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever wins that is got to go up against the winner of the springtime tournament.
Oh, that'd be a good deal.
So it's going to be a 2-day tournament in August. So those two, the winner of both days in August, got to go head to head.
Yeah.
And that winner will go head to head with the winner in August that was in spring.
That'd be a good deal. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. All right, you be safe out there, outdoor addiction. He says he's after work. He goes. He's listening and driving.
All right. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
So, what kind of trolling motor do you use?
I run a Minn Kota Tarova. It's a iPilot. It's just a 24-volt system, but
Is it like a spot lock or something?
Yeah. It's got iPilot. It's linked to my my main unit on my console is a Solix 15. It's linked to it, so it's got to follow the contour and spot lock and all that good stuff.
That's the next question I was going to ask. What kind of fish finding equipment do you have on your boat?
Yeah, I've got a Solix 15 for the unit on the console, and then towards the rear, the bumping unit is a Helix 9.
Now, does either one of them have like a live scope on it or anything?
No, I don't have any of the. I think Hummingbird's version is 360 or something. I don't have
right.
It. I think it'd be a good deal for catching bait in the wintertime. For cast net and bait, it'd be very handy for that.
Someone told me someone I know told me they had the live scope and they were using it for catfishing.
Huh.
And they was telling me that seeing a big fish swim across that live scope scared the daylights out of them. They didn't know what it was.
I thought it was an alligator or something.
Yeah, because they said a 5-foot fish going across the live scope and it just rises up underneath the boat. It makes you think.
Yeah, that'd be kind of different to see
I'm
from
like,
that view.
Could it be a nurse shark or could it be a catfish?
Yeah, never know.
Especially in the Mississippi, I'm like, yeah, you never know what it could be in the Mississippi. Yeah. A big blob like that swimming up in front of you, and
there we go.
Through lab scope, and all of a sudden it's coming up is like, whoops, you're back.
There we go. Now I'm back.
You don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah. It's well, that's the one. That's like you said. That's the thing about the Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi has a little bit of everything in it. So, if you had it, I'm waiting for you to get back in and out.
Sorry, I keep getting phone calls.
A good thing to deal with that is put your phone on Do Not Disturb when you're doing lives and stuff.
I'm definitely I'll have to do that. I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
No, I'm just saying, doing a Do Not Disturb keeps that from happening. You just send your phone, the calls to voicemail.
Okay.
But if you could, where would you like to go fishing and who would you like to go fishing with?
Chris Souders I'd be happy to go on the Ohio with Chris Souders, but my destination would be James River, definitely. Final answer.
I know you said Chris Souders, but list 10 other people in the catfishing community you'd like to fish with.
10 others?
Yes.
Definitely Dieter. me and Bump and Mike have been talking about getting together. Steve Douglas he'd be one. I'm not a kayak guy, but Ryan Bortz, I think he'd be a fun one. Justin Johnson on the other kayak thing. Hagen Grubbs, I'd love to fish with him. That guy can flat catch some fish. Oh,
Hagen Grubbs, I'd say, would be another epic.
yes, definitely. I'd like to fish with, just for the fun aspect of it. I'd like to fish. I think me and Chad would have a good time fishing together. I really do. I think we'd have an awesome time. And last but not least, he's fairly close to me. I think I could just sit there and listen to his stories all day long. It'd be Lyle Stokes. I'd love to be on a boat with Lyle sometime.
Yeah. I think you forgot one.
Who's that?
Because he says 4 more, 3 more.
Oh.
he's in other words, he's trying to tell you, saying, you got 3 more people.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Man. Let's get
I think he's trying to throw a hint.
Yeah. Anytime.
Oh, I know he says, nope, now you owe us 2.
2. James Docker would be a good one. That guy could teach me something about catching bait. I guarantee it.
Man, that boy catches more bluegills. He has more ponds in his backyard that he can catch bluegills and crappie left and right.
It's insane. I don't think, like Lyle has said multiple times, I don't think anybody understands how many fish that guy actually catches. It's comical.
I see how much he can catch. It just, if I had the time, I could probably go after all kinds of bluegills and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have the time right now with work.
Yeah.
But I think that might be changing.
Well, that's good. More time to fish is always a good thing.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to keep the hours I have and everything. But I'm still trying to get more me time.
Yeah, I hear you. No, that makes perfect sense.
Well, we've been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good talk. Good conversation. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, sorry, Richard Ward. I've been trying to keep it a family show, and I wasn't trying to cuss. He says work is the cuss word. This is a family show. Yeah, I apologize.
We'll save those for on the boat, Richard.
We'll save it for after hours, for an after-hour show.
Yeah.
I've done a few of those after-hour shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How often do you plan on going live on StreamYard to show some of your fishing skills?
It's something that I want to try to do. I want to try it, and I figure I'm probably just going to go from there. I'll see how it pans out, and then
if you do lives, get people that will be in there and set them as mods, so they can take care of any trolls or anything that comes in.
Okay, I appreciate that advice. I'll keep that in mind. I've went live on Facebook on my page quite a few times. That's always been it's always been pretty fun. But
StreamYard isn't that hard to use.
No, it's not. Now
they got a free version where you get 20 hours free a month.
Oh,
then
that's
you
more than
step
enough.
up and get one for $30 bucks a month, which you get unlimited streaming. So
yeah,
it's good. That's why I got mods in here to take care of all the trolls.
Yeah.
Mad Cat says, yes, so I need to be blue. Wow. What have you done to him?
I don't know.
He's just
Oh,
he's just razzing the daylights out of you now for some reason.
no,
I don't know why.
it's all right.
Haven't
Yeah,
you taken him fishing with you lately?
no, I haven't. It's going to happen real soon. As soon as the big fish start coming off, it'll happen.
Oh, I'm sure they're already starting to come off.
I've been seeing some local fish, some pretty big fish. A buddy of mine actually, uh, he's from up around Iowa, but he fishes the Missouri River quite a bit down around here, and he put one in the boat last night that, by measurements, it was, what did he say, 111 pounds. He didn't have a set of scales that were working, Big Blue, but he was all scarred up on his head, and you could tell he just come off big. But so yeah, that'll make you want to. It'll make you want to start getting after him again after you've been waiting for spawn.
Oh, I bet. Richard says we miss his Missouri boys need to stick together.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, sticking together and jamming at one another—that's a whole different ballpark.
Oh, that's how we know. That's how we know we get along. If we ain't giving each other a hard time, then something's wrong.
Well, yeah. Well, look at how much grief I give Shad in his own show.
That's right. That's right.
Then you
Like my dad always used to say, if I ain't giving you a hard time, it means I don't like you.
see. I like Lyle and I like Mark enough to respect him and not give him that much grief.
Yeah.
So instead of giving Lyle and Mark all that grief, I give it all to Shad.
Just give it all to Chad. He can take it. He's got.
Actually, I give it all to Chucky.
He gives enough of it out anyways. He deserves a little bit.
Oh, he gets it all.
Yeah.
I give it all to him. I'm like, I don't care. It's like that baby bottle that he has now. He needs a diaper change every time he picks it up.
I was waiting for it.
But I tell you what, I mean, it's just something. I don't have anything ill against Chad. He's a good guy and he's a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
I just like giving him a lot of grief.
He is a great guy. He really is. He's a good guy. I don't know him very, very well, but I know him through here, and it's not hard to tell. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. I know him through here, but I've never met him.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's short. It has to be as short as James Dockery. I couldn't resist that one. All right, Richard Ward. Yeah, you be safe out there. He says it's a great show. Got to get these individuals to bed. Have a great night.
Take it easy, Richard.
So, we covered the boat. We covered your. What questions have I not asked you yet?
Oh, I don't know. I think we've covered about everything. We've had a pretty good conversation.
Now, do you like for bottom bouncing? Do you like using bank sinkers or cannonballs?
I like bank sinkers.
Why you get a better feel? Phone call again.
Okay, here we go. Sorry. Yeah, I'm a big fan of bank sinkers for bumping.
Why is that?
Honestly, for me, I've got a mold for them. So
Okay. They're inexpensive for you.
they are very inexpensive. Yes, I don't use the best lead. I use lead that comes from a tire shop, but it works for me. So
Yeah. Now, what size weight bank sinkers do you use?
my go-to is either a 4 or a 5. More times than not, it's a 5.
What about in heavier currents? Do you go bigger?
No, 5 holds me pretty good. Usually, if it gets to where I've got to run much more than a 5, I'll start cutting the size of my bait down so it's catching less current. But
Okay.
very seldom ever go above a 5.
Now, how often have you had to cut your bait down?
Every time I'm on the Mississippi River.
I guess that's my problem. I'm using a 8-ounce weight and a Wells tongue for bait
Yeah.
and throwing it out there, and it takes forever for that 8-ounce weight to hit bottom.
Yep. Yep. No, a lot of you'll anchor up, you'll run 12, 16 ounces out there. It's crazy.
I'm doing it from the bank, and I'm getting out there. I mean, I'm doing 200-300 yards from the bank with my 12-foot rods.
Yeah. Yeah.
With braid.
Yeah.
And an 8-ounce weight with a bait like that.
Yeah, that's catching some current.
Yeah, it's catching current. And I mean, it's anywhere from half to 3/4 of a skipjack out there on it.
Yeah.
With a double stinger hook on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
One through the nose and one through the back part just above where I cut it, and just sling it.
Yeah. That's right. Just send it.
I have people around me says I don't send it, I don't sling it. I need to file an FAA flight plan when I cast.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Why? He goes, because you don't cast like everybody else. You launch things across the lake or halfway across the river. I just cast.
You can get it out there.
Yeah, I let the rod do most of the work.
Yeah.
I just let my shoulder point where it's going.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's all in a rod, honestly. It's I've learned that I've ran cheaper rods and I've ran better grade rods, and it makes a huge difference.
Now, if you were to try that with a Shakespeare rod, a $20 rod, compared to the rods you use now, would there be a significant difference in the casting from them?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
We have Ace Catfishing that just came in.
Hey, what's going on?
So, how much of a difference would it be from a Walmart rod, Shakespeare rod, to your rods you have now as far as casting or slinging it out there?
I would think, depending on weight, there's times I'll run 10, 12 ounces, even on the Missouri, anchoring for flatheads. It depends on what rods. I know there are some cheaper Walmart rods. I can't remember what those are. Everybody and their brothers had one. The old ugly sticks.
Right.
I've fished with them for years before I got really big into it. I'd still fish with them, if I didn't have anything else. They're great rods, but at the same time on that, I think there's casting wise, I don't think you would get half the distance, and I'd almost be afraid to hook up on a big fish like we catch, especially in that 4 or 5 mile an hour current on anything cheaper like that. Well, because I've seen backbones kind of try to strip, and it's like they just separate.
Right.
Scares me.
I know when I used to use those Shakespeare's or the ugly sticks with an 8-ounce weight on it, they had too much bend in it.
Yeah. Ugly stick's a great rod. They're a good rod for the money, for what you get.
They're good rods, but they say they can handle so much weight, but you put that weight on there and it's like,
yeah,
it bends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you try to cast it, it's like casting a bullwhip. And I'm like, okay, I got to find a better rod for what I'm wanting to use.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that, like you just said, a lot of it is matching, bait and weight to your rod. I like a lot of weight, and I like huge baits. So that's just I try to match. It's just like anything. It's just like matching your hook size to your bait.
Yeah, you just got to balance your reel to your rod, to your line, to your
Right.
weights, and your
Yep.
bait size that you like to use. And you got to have the rods that you want also to match that as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
your rods
Yeah,
are going to take 99% of the stress.
that's right. Yep. You've got to put every variable out there, and you.
And right now, I can put an 8-ounce weight on a 12-foot heavy action rod. It's going to bend, but it ain't going to bend that much.
Right. Right.
It may bend 3/8 to a quarter of an angle at the tip, but it's still got that backbone to sling that damn thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. My biggest thing about rods is being able to turn a fish. That's my biggest things. If I can't control a fish a little bit, I mean, I've caught fish that bump my PB bumps 80. I've caught, I don't know, I can't even count how many over 60. And if you can't at least halfway put a fish where you're trying to put him, you're pretty much beating a dead horse. You've got to be able to have it's a fight. It's not the fish beating you.
You're not winning. You're on the losing end.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. If you can't, yes, they're going to pull drag. They're going to do what they want to do ultimately, but at the same time, you need to be able to turn them. You need to be
Right.
able.
You need. They may be wanting to do what they want to do, but you want to have control on how far out they can go.
Yep.
Now, how many times have you been spooled?
The only time I've ever been spooled is I was bumping, and I had a little cheap reel. It was a bass reel. I was running way, way, way back behind the boat, and I hit a good fish, and the reel didn't have the drag, and that braid line, I couldn't hold it. It burnt my thumb, and I was cussing, trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and before you knew it, no more
No
line.
way.
The weight just went away, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, that's the only time that I've ever been spooled. It was while I was bumping, and it'll make a guy sick.
Oh, I'm sure it will, because I'm like, you got a big one on, and all of a sudden that line just screams right off your reel, and
Nothing you can do.
you're like, where's the line?
Yeah, I just felt the weight come out of the rod, and I was like, oh no. I thought he broke me off the way it happened, but really
Right.
he'd spooled me. So, and I was actually live on Facebook when that happened. That was a couple years ago, but yeah, I was happened. So it wasn't. Which I was at the end of the day, I'm kind of glad I was live because people saw a fight for a few seconds, so they know I wasn't telling lies. Oh, I had one spool me.
Right.
People got to see it a little bit, but
So you learned a valuable lesson on that one, didn't you?
yes, I did.
No more bass reels.
Yes, that's right. I have a very high standard on drag. I'm on drag on a reel is huge to me.
That's where I like my pins, because I got 40 to 50 pound drags on it, because my pins are all saltwater, freshwater reels.
Yeah.
So I know they got the drag to handle it, and they got the backbone to handle it.
Yep.
But I've always been a pin guy, so I'm going to stay a pin guy. But
Yeah, you find it works for you, you stick with it.
I know they got the drag to handle big fish,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the drag set to where if a fish over, let's say, 35 to 50 pounds hit, the drag's going to let go. It's going to give them some drag, but not a lot.
Yep.
But anything under 30, they're not going nowhere.
Just drag them straight in.
Uh-huh. And I like them. I like the pin rifle. I like my pin fierce reels, spinning reels with my bait caster. But I'm fixing to get another pin fierce reel that has a bait clicker on it.
Oh,
That's that's a spinning reel.
that's unique. That'll be cool.
Yeah, it's a new version of the Penn Pierce. It's almost like an 8,000 or 9,000,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna put all braid on that one. And I've never seen a Penn Pierce spinning reel with a brake drag on it, bait clicker.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
That's gonna be cool.
That's gonna be very cool.
But I got a 18-foot or 20-foot catfish rod I can put him on. Or 15 foot I can put him on.
Oh wow.
And if I put him on the 18 foot, that one is a real heavy action rod
Yeah.
that I could put a good 10 ounce weight on it and sling it all day long.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's crazy. 18 foot.
I, I'm gonna have to send you the picture of that 18 foot.
Yeah, I wish you would. I'd like to see that. That's pretty neat.
Because I leaned it up against a guard shack trailer at work, standing straight up, and it was still 3 feet taller than the guard shack trailer.
That's crazy.
I'm like, really? But welcome back, Valerie. So, do you have any final thoughts for the night?
Huh? No, not really. It's been a good time being on here. This is the first time I've ever done one of these. I'm glad you had me on. I had a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you guys helping to get me more subs. That was awesome. I never expected that. Can't thank you all enough. I'll return the favor on all the channels that I haven't already subbed to. And every time I find one, I sub. That's I try to help all I can. But no, I had a great time. I appreciate it.
What advice would you give to someone that's starting out in catfishing?
Don't overthink it. Don't get tied up in, well, this guy on Facebook's catching big fish. I'm not catching any big fish. Just don't overthink it.
Keep it simple.
Yes, catfishing it's come a long way, but it's just like anything else. Practice. Technique is huge. Have an open mind if you're a boat fisherman,
right?
And you gotta be willing, and you've got to at least try to put the effort in to learn new things and listen to people that know what they're doing. So many times I've talked to people that, older guys. Well, you can't be very old at all, and you don't know how to catch fish. I'm like, well, whatever, fine. I was just trying to talk to you, but
yeah,
that's my number one thing. Don't overthink it, and don't give up on it, because the more you do it, the better you get. The more techniques you learn, it'll definitely pay for itself. There's nothing like it in the world.
right. I look at catfishing as keeping it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I use that a lot because a lot of people think you have to have everything, especially beginners. They think they have to go buy all these name brand rod and reels and everything for getting out there and starting.
Nope.
And I just say keep it simple.
Yep.
Yes.
That fish don't care.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep, that's right. Now that fish don't care what kind of hooks or what kind of line or rods or anything you hook him on. He don't care.
He don't care. He don't care because I tell you what, the fish don't care what kind of rod, reel you have or anything.
No. All they're worried about is putting something in their belly. That's it.
Yeah, all they're worried about.
Yep. Yeah, well, and think like a fish and you will start catching more fish. When I had a buddy of mine tell me to, he's like, dude, it sounds crazy, but try it. And I tell you what, once I did, it was game on. I started reading. I'd watch videos, not fishing videos, but videos on like behavior of catfish. And it me so much. Oh man, it's crazy.
The behaviors of a catfish
Yes.
will tell you everything that you need to know.
Yes, absolutely. You mix what you learn there with a little bit of common sense and you'll do just fine.
I got one goofy question for you.
Okay.
Would you rather use chicken for bait or would you rather eat chicken?
I'd rather eat chicken. I would rather eat chicken. I'm lie. Dieter persuaded me to use it, and I quickly learned that you don't even need the Jello and all that. They'll eat just chicken, but for big fish, nope. No. I'd never take it into a tournament with me. That's for sure, ever.
Right.
I don't know. Somebody said, how many times do you ever see a chicken just jump in the water where the fish can eat him out? I don't know. To me, it's not a natural bait. I'm pretty solid on using natural baits. So, and it's not a natural bait, but it does work.
Hello, 922. Well, the only thing is I don't use chicken is I don't see a chicken fish in the waters and rivers swimming around.
There you go. Yep, that's what I was kind of trying to get to earlier. There's just not any around.
I don't see a chicken with gills, pectorals, and dorsal fins, and a tail fin.
It's
with feathers on it.
Well, it's like the liver thing and liver, and I've heard people using beef tongue and so many different things. And I just tell everybody the way I look at it is to catch big fish, I use fish, and that's I've kind of lived by that.
I've been thinking about this last few weeks. I've been raised with using things that fish naturally eat, because when it floods, they come up out of the rivers and stuff and eat the night crawlers that's in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They eat the bluegills, they eat the shad, they eat the skipjacks, they eat the red horse suckers, big-head carp, Asian carp, the buffalo, and the gar and everything when they're small.
Yep.
So the best keep it simple.
That's the best advice I can give anyone, whether you're boat or bank, river, lake, flathead, channel cat, blue cat, I don't care. If you find the bait and fish where the bait is, you will catch fish.
Oh yeah.
And the bait is going to be fish every time.
Hey, Whisker Dreams. We're just fixing to close this out. But welcome in anyway. Here is a link to NWMO's channel. If you don't have him, please go over and hook set him and show him some support. He's an amazing guy, and yeah, he has shared out a lot of great info tonight. So feel free to go back and watch this again. Thank you for coming up here, Dustin, tonight and sharing out your info and giving some of the time to us so we can get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I had a great time.
You're welcome. If you ever want to come back up, just shoot me a message and I can get you back up.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if I can get you on a couple other lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I had a good time. I like answering everybody's questions and just talk.
I think a couple of other channels would like to get you up on there too, because you'd fit with what they're looking for.
Yeah. I had a great time. Anytime I can sit and talk about fishing, I'm pretty happy.
Oh,
So,
hey, fishing is great.
fishing's life. that's
Oh yeah. So I'm going to end this here and say good night and tight lines to everybody. Hold on, Dustin. I'll talk to you a little bit backstage.
okay.
So you all have fun and have a great night.
Thanks for coming in, everybody.